Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to kind of share with you a little something that I'm a little slow sometimes, but this is something that I've learned through the years. Um, it's easier to learn from strangers. Learning new things from strangers. It's easier. Now, you get in habits, I guess you'd call it, by your peers, the people that you hang around, that you respect. You get in habits with them. But when it comes to learning, I think it's easier when you learn from somebody you really don't know. I've noticed when I travel, I learn a lot because, like I say, I'm around strangers all the time. I'm learning. And when I stay, I say I'm here on the ranch, and so in Oklahoma. And then when on the learning process here is a repetitive type learning. And I've got my friends and the people I hang around, and we talk, and you listen, and you kind of it's a little different because each person has their priorities. And when you don't understand exactly their goals, then what they do sometimes doesn't make sense. And I'm going to use a good example here. This is something we're working on. We prepare all the time. This is our lifestyle. And the people I hang around, everybody prepares the people I hang around. The only exception is when I leave the country. And it's something I notice out of the country, few prepare. Now, there are some, I know some, that do prepare out of the country, but there's very few. Here in the United States, even though you think there's not that many, there's a whole lot more here than what there are outside. But one of the things we get is when you get to know somebody, you have conflicts with them. You have disagreements and stuff like that. And one of the things that we're working on, we've been preparing all the time. Now we're getting in a lot of the details of preparing. And one of the things that that we kind of got into it on was the idea that I've got my water getting cold. Because we're working in communications. I'm not a communications kind of guy. I didn't realize how bad I was. And so, but my one friend, he's in the communications, and his priority is in the details on this stuff. I just want something to push the button and it talks. And so so we're getting into it, and it finally dawned on me, for the group, I guess, because we were working in communications, they kind of said that, I'm really not getting into this. And, you're right. I don't want to know all these watts and volts and, megahertz and, the wavelengths and stuff like that. I'm sorry. I'm just not into this kind of stuff. And I would put the money up on to a certain amount, and then after that, I've got my priorities to go on. So, and then the thing came up on food, because as the group, each individual or each household has got a lot of food, and for me, I only have just a few months, not too much food for me. And they don't understand why. And then gold and silver. So I got more gold and silver. So they don't understand, well, why do I put so much in gold and silver? We're right back to, you can't eat gold and silver. You can't talk through gold and silver and stuff like that. But because as a group, they're focused now on communications, and they're having a lot of problems. And now I understand why in Vietnam, the radio man, that's all his job was being on the radio. And he really didn't talk. What he did was made sure that the radios were working all the time. And then, like I say, the commanding officer would do the talking. All this guy did is just got the right person to talk to on the other line, and then he'd give it to the commanding officer, and then they'd do the talking. So, but now I understand why. It's really complicated. It's really difficult. And but the thing was, they were saying, well, you need to buy more food, And I thought, well, let me see. I have been buying more guns and more ammunition. And like I say, I've changed my tactics. They haven't changed their combat tactics. And the reason why, they're not into the combat, but that's what it dawned on me is each person has got their goals. And you can't make somebody get into your goals. And I understand the importance on food. But if people that know me, not here, I'm talking about when I'm on the road, I'm out, food has never been a problem for me. Even when I don't know people, because I get to know people. That's one of the tactics I use, is I get to know people. Because I need to know friend from foe, drug traffickers and human traffickers from good people. So there's things I've got to figure all this stuff out. And like I say, food is one of these things that they're going to eat, so they just make some more for me. So food is not a priority. But they're looking, in exchange, they're using my services, the stuff that I do. And what I do is kind of unique, and it's not stuff that you can really, well, you need to study some of it, practice some of it so you know it, but to do what I do, it's really a lifestyle. And this is something that I've noticed here. I'm not getting into their lifestyle, and it was funny because I'm kind of catching heat. And but then again, this is the longest I've been here in Oklahoma. I came back in April, and I think I was only gone a month since then. Now it's November. So, and so they thought I was going to do more of their things. They don't understand, and that's what I'm getting ready to do after election. I'm going to be heading out, and because there's other people that are my acquaintances, and each group of people that I go see all the time, they have different goals. They've got different strengths and different weaknesses. And I go in and take care of their weaknesses, or some of their weaknesses, and they take care of my weaknesses. And some of my weaknesses is food. I don't have food. I don't have shelter, lodging. And they put me up, and in exchange, I do what I got to do. And even when I'm dealing with people that are strangers I don't know, I deal with, that's where, I do the negotiating for your life kind of stuff. And that's what the gold and silver is for, is I do some negotiating and work things out, and, and then I move on, or after we work things out, they find out I've got some value. I know everybody's got value to me. Everybody does, because they all have shelter and they all have food. So right there, that means they've got value to me, because these are things that I don't have, that most people, or most, just about everybody, that's a priority for them. And but like I say, safety and health is not as much of a priority to most people as it is to me. Like I say, my health. I don't do doctors. I don't take medicine. I get sick. I got problems. And then health is a big priority to me, more than it is to most people. And then safety. One reason I travel, another reason is because of my past. I understand how safety is something you really need. Without safety, you're going to be victimized. You're going to have problems. And so these are the two things that I flourish in. And so what I'm saying is be aware of each person's priorities. I mean, like I say, one of the places I'm getting ready to go see is a machinist. And his priority is, he's got all the equipment, he's got the knowledge, and he's got all this stuff. He doesn't really have much gold and silver, and but he's got a secured place and stuff like that. But I can go in and get my machining done. And like I say, I got new weapons, and they need to be modified. So this was one of the reasons why I'm going over there. And then I'm going to other states and other places here for a while. One of the other things that have changed, I put Mexico back on my places to go, and that'll be in December. So I'm getting everything ready for, like I say, the elections, and find out what's going to happen. I want to touch base with all the people that we share interests in. And I'm not saying, like my top interest. I'm talking about interests in our nation, patriots, people that want to be strong and want to take care of themselves. And this is what I do. I go in there and help them just like they help me. But you do have to be aware people have different goals, and they got different skill levels on these goals. And these are all very important things that you need to keep in mind. And don't make too much judgment one way or the other. That's one thing I learned here. I thought, why are they putting in so much in the... I mean, now they're starting to put in a lot of money, and they're experimenting with all kinds of stuff on the communications. Communications isn't that easy. But our networking now is stretching out to the community, our surrounding communities. I mean, our community is taken care of. We're working on helping out the surrounding communities, so it's a little different. And but anyway, I thought I would mention the idea of stay focused on what's important to you, and understand other people have other things that are important to them. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.